This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball on FS1. Game number 2 of a weekend series in the Gateway City. It's the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to the broadcast booth at Busch Stadium. That's Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us. It's a very good pitching matchup. We'll start with the lefty, Jose Quintana.
Yeah, both these guys winners for their respective teams. Quintana has been terrific within the division. 4-3 record, ERA under 2. He's got the best record among any starters in the division. Just a .204 opponent's batting average. He has a very, very good curveball, and he beat the Cardinals his last time out. Miles Michaelis started that same game, Dan. He got a no decision, but he's been good against Chicago. 2 starts, 1.50 ERA, has not allowed a home run, and he really does throw a lot of strikes.
Jose Quintana, Miles Michaelis, one of the great rivalries in the sport of baseball. The Chicago Cubs, the St. Louis Cardinals. Baseball coming up on FS1. FS1 is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. It's a packed house. It's sold out here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Along with Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cubby blue in the seats, the sea of red when you come to St. Louis and Busch Stadium. Cardinals took game 1. We'll see what's in store here in game number 2. Jim Hayes, Erica Weston down on the field. It's 78 degrees here at Busch.
Perfect day for baseball, and I love this rivalry. I may be a little bit biased, Dan, but I think it's the best rivalry in all of baseball. It's friendly, yet it's very competitive at the same time.
Joe Madden and the Cubs, despite the loss last night, they are 60-43. They lead Milwaukee by a game and a half in the Central. Pittsburgh, one of the hottest teams in baseball. They're 7 back, and the Cardinals find themselves 8 games out. And there's a look at the All-Star, Miles Michaelis.
Michaelis has been good from right out of the gates. He has been a winner, 10-3 on the season, and he's been getting a lot of innings deep into games because his pitch count is so low. He's going to throw a lot of first pitch strikes, change speeds on the curveball and the slider, and the Cardinals would be in big trouble without Miles Michaelis, who's turned into their ace in 2018.
There are the season numbers for Michaelis, deserving of that All-Star appearance. Great numbers both home and away, but his home numbers are especially strong. 1.99 ERA in 9 starts at Busch Stadium. The Hyundai pitch arsenal, any one of those pitches, any time in the count, he can throw it for a strike.
Yeah, and they've all been effective. He's going to use the curveball, a lot of first pitches, just a get me over curveball to get ahead, and then he carves you up from there. He's got a good idea of moving the ball in and out, which of course is what pitching is all about.
Joe Madden grew up a Cardinal fan as a youngster, and now he's been a Cardinal killer the last couple of years.
What a great career he's had. 64-year-old manager, the oldest manager in Major League Baseball, 3-time manager of the year. After 9 years in Tampa Bay, think about what he did for that franchise. He's been pretty good in Chicago too.
Anthony Rizzo at the top of the lineup for Chicago. Albert Almora Jr., then Jason Hayward. Javi Baez homered last night, number 20. Wilson Contreras, the slugger, Kyle Schwarber, the switch hitting Ian Happ, filling in for Chris Bryant in third. The pitcher batting 8th, Jose Quintana, and David Bodie is at second base. Round 2. Here we go. Game number 2 of this weekend series. Packed house here at Busch Stadium. Last time we saw Miles Michaelis at home, he was lifted after 4 innings. Was really struggling. It was the final game before the All-Star break. Last time out, 5 innings against the Cubs, so well rested coming into this start.
Yeah, and his wife was about 8.5 months pregnant at the time too. The twins were born on the 16th of July, so that's certainly turned his life upside down, as has being named as an All-Star.
A hot shot to Martinez. Steps on the bag for the out. Before going to Japan, a different pitcher, different guy. Throw it out. He's a new look here in the major leagues. Amazing how he's reinvented himself and become one of the premier pitchers in all of baseball. Albert Almora hitting .311. He's popped 4 home runs and he's driven in 30. Strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. It's a cloudy day here in St. Louis, so the lights on here at Busch Stadium. Local time 3:05 first pitch. 1-2 the count.
And I must say, a lot of blue in the stands today.
Well, they travel well from the north side of Chicago. The 1-2 pitch. Tapped foul and into the Cubs dugout. Both teams were after Miles Michaelis, and the Cardinals, by virtue of training in Jupiter, Florida, which is where Miles was born and raised, they picked him up. They're thankful they did. Ground ball to Matt Carpenter. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Pham, and Fowler in the outfield. Carpenter, DeYoung, Munoz, and Martinez along the infield, and Yadier Molina. 9-time All-Star is behind the plate, and the interim manager of the Cardinals took over for Mike Matheny is Mike Schilt, a baseball lifer, and off to a pretty good start in terms of things going in the right direction, trying to get more fundamentally sound.
Team 5-5 since he's taken over for Mike Matheny. 49-year-old Schilt is the 50th manager in franchise history, and he's got a job to do. He's got a lot of young players. He's trying to sell them on the idea of moving forward, and that's really his personality, is to be able to do that.
1 ball, 1 strike on the former Cardinal, Jason Hayward. think about the residual effect of Michaelis signing with the Cardinals. Cubs get Yu Darvish, Tyler Chatwood. They may not see Darvish until September. Chatwood has been erratic, to say the least. Michaelis would have been the guy that had been perfect for their rotation.
Milwaukee Brewers wanted him too. A lot of teams saw what he was doing in Japan, and he was doing it not just one season. He had 3 years where he just learned how to pitch, as you mentioned, and everybody wanted Miles Michaelis, and the Cardinals really signed him without really seeing him either.
Collaboration of scouts that were there.
Right.
Jeff Ishii, who covers that part of the world. Matt Slater, who's in the Cardinals front office, and then the analytics, the video, all coming together. And a 2-out walk, a rare walk by Michaelis. He has normally impeccable control. This guy, the cleanup hitter of the Cubs, has turned into some kind of player. Javi Baez, he launched that home run, number 20 last night.
Leading the Cubs in almost every offensive category. He is the real deal.
You talked about it last night, Ricky, where previous years, and you still can't. You can get him to chase on that outer half slider where Molina is setting up. But he's done a better job laying off those pitches and has become a power threat too at the plate.
Well, I think he's a guy who used to be able to get out a certain way, but now he makes an adjustment faster. So you can't get him out with all 3 pitches in the same spot. You have to move it around a little bit on Baez, and his power is just incredible.
1 ball, 1 strike.
I believe I also said last night that he's leading the club in style points too.
And that's by a wide margin.
Yes. Hands down.
Outfield is straight away and deep. The 1-1 pitch to Baez. Molina thought about throwing to first as Hayward was about a third of the way to second base. Check on Jason Hayward. We know he is a threat to steal. Not many of those this year, but still a threat with his speed that he possesses. One ball and 2 strikes on Javi Baez. And a ground ball to short. DeYoung. Force play at second. Munoz there. No damage done against Miles Michaelis. Coming up, Matt Carpenter, Yadier Molina, Paul DeYoung in the bottom of the first. the Cardinals' Matt Carpenter, former 13th round pick. That's why he wears number 13. He signed for $1,000. Quite the investment for St. Louis. He's now second in homers to Nolan Arenado. Carpenter with 25 in the National League. Yadier Molina to follow, then Paul DeYoung, Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, Tommy Pham, Dexter Fowler, Jairo Munoz, and the pitcher batting ninth, Miles Michaelis. What do we know about Jose Quintana?
3-pitch pitcher, fastball, curveball, changeup, making start number 20. He's been a winner, 9-game winner. Again, a former All-Star for the White Sox. He moved from the south side to the north side last year.
Carpenter dropping down a bunt. Half. No play. And a leadoff base hit for Carpenter. For fans that missed it, last time we saw the Cubs in Chicago, Joe Maddon used 4 outfielders and dared Carpenter to bunt.
Well, Happ was really playing the shortstop position, so he had a shot at maybe getting Carpenter here, but the bunt was perfect. Wasn't able to come up with it, but Carpenter, despite the home runs you talked about, Dan, understands the importance of getting on base, and that's why he walks so often. 62 walks for Carpenter, and if you're going to give him a bunt base hit, he'll take it.
And now Yadier Molina bunting against Quintana. He'll throw to second, and they're going to say it's a foul ball as they completed the play.
Yadi must have bunted that off of his front foot. And interesting, the Cardinals are going to, I think, test Happ. I think no Bryant in the lineup. Trying to bunt that towards third, and it did hit his shin.
It's Carpenter's 4th bunt of the year, and he's now tied with Colton Wong. 4 bunts, base hits. Numbers on Yadier Molina. Today he passes Enos Slaughter for 4th all-time games played by a St. Louis Cardinal. On that list, he's closing in on Ozzie Smith, 3rd most, Lou Brock, and then Stan the Man. The 2-1 pitch to the Cardinals catcher.
Cardinals offense has been better since the All-Star break, and there may be plenty of reasons that you can come up with as to the why, but my reason is Yadier Molina being in the 2nd spot in the lineup.
You like this?
I do like it. I think he's got good bat control. He's a good hit and run guy. You know, the Cardinals just don't have speed at the top of their lineup. That's a given. But with Yadi, you've got bat control, and you've got arguably your best hitter. He's hitting 294.
You think about a hit and run here. They tried this combination last night. Yadi swung through the pitch.
Quintana does have a good move.
And the move to check on Carpenter. Molina now in the top 10 in Cardinals history. Hits, doubles, runs batted in. What? 3-2. A lot of room on the right side of the infield. Carpenter back in safely at first. We have seen a very aggressive style from Mike Schilt as compared to Mike Matheny in terms of starting runners, trying to get motion, activity.
Not so much stolen base attempts, but hit and runs, running in certain counts.
Carpenter running, and it's tapped foul.
I just think that puts pressure on the defense and on the other team's pitcher for sure. And on that subject, if you're the pitcher and you give up a bunt single because of the shift to the first batter in the game, that's a bad way to start an outing, isn't it?
Absolutely. I also think you set a tone for how you're going to play. There's something to be said for that too. That's pulled, and it's off the glove of Happ. It's a fair ball off the sidewall. Molina will stop at first base. And Carpenter on his way to third. Runners at the corners for the Cardinals and nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
Yadier Molina smokes this ball down in the middle of the plate, and it's just barely fair off the glove of Happ. And the Cardinals have even more pressure on Quintana right out of the gate.
Here's Paul DeYoung. Had a big night in game one. That pitch inside. Slowly but surely, after having the broken bone in the hand, you're starting to see more of a Paul DeYoung that drives the ball, hits for power. Inside. 2 balls and no strikes. A bunt base hit by Carpenter. He advanced to third. The hard hit single by Molina. The 2-0 pitch. DeYoung pulls it foul. And we take a look at our Kubota power stats. Paul DeYoung last 3 games, 5 for his last 12, which includes a double, triple, home run, and he's driven in 4.
And the power really started for the Cardinal shortstop who grew up outside of Chicago at Wrigley Field. He had 2 bombs that stayed in the ballpark because the wind was blowing it.
From Antioch, Illinois. Played in Illinois State. And a lot of family and friends on both sides of the rivalry for Paul DeYoung.
To navigate that a little bit, don't you?
He does. The 2-1. Fouled back.
Part of that navigation is when he was growing up, he went to games at both Comiskey Park and Wrigley Field. So you got to navigate that first, because that's not always the easiest thing to straighten out within a family, whether you're a North Sider or a South Sider.
It's not pretty.
No.
Runners at the corners and a 2-2. Pitch taken high. Jose Martinez at the on deck circle.
I was impressed with Quintana at Wrigley Field, his ability to pitch in on right-handed batters. That last pitch, he was going for the kill on DeYoung, but he's really good at that.
The full count delivery. Bases are loaded. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Schwarber in left. Almora in center. Hayward is in right. Happ, Baez, Bodie, Rizzo along the infield. Wilson Contreras is behind the plate. A bunt base hit by Carpenter. Molina, the single off the glove of Happ down at third. And Paul DeYoung, the walk, and now we have the bases loaded for Martinez. And the first mound visit, Wilson Contreras. Quintana, last time we saw him, a Sunday afternoon at Wrigley. 7 innings, 6 hits, walked 4, struck out 6, wound up being a 9-6 Cubs win. And he threw 121 pitches. That was a career high for him.
He stayed in a little longer than I think Joe Madden wanted him to, but his bullpen was thin on that particular day. 5 games in 4 days between these two rivals, and Quintana was left out there, but he does get that extra day going from Sunday to a Saturday start, so I would guess he's fully rested.
2 balls, no strikes. Well, if you're a Cardinal fan, you couldn't draw it up any better. He's scoreless, top of the first, and now your cleanup hitter with the bases loaded, ahead of the count, 2-0. Martinez with 13 home runs, and he thrives in this spot with runners in scoring position. The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. his 17 pitches have been strikes. Now the question, do you turn him loose on 3-0?
I wouldn't. I'd wait till 3-1. I think when he misses by that much, let him get himself back on track, and you'll get the same pitch 3-1 that you get 3-0.
And here it is, 3-1. Only 4 runs allowed. 19 starts in his first innings. Only 4. Martinez could match that total with one swing right here. A 3-1 pitch to Jose Martinez. And he walked it. A bases loaded walk to Martinez. And with that, a 1-0 St. Louis lead, and still nobody out. And the second mound visit. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach of the Cubs, out to visit.
Well, the world's spinning a little bit for Quintana right now as Joe Madden looks on. I think the tone was set in this inning with the first at bat when Matt Carpenter laid down the bunt. He got something going, got him working out of the stretch right away. Think about that for a starter that's used to success in the first inning, and all of a sudden you've got action. And I think he's just unsettled at the moment. Doesn't mean he can't settle down. We know how good Quintana can be. Get him while you can, should be the Cardinals' motto.
Cardinals yesterday dropping Marcell Ozuna out of the cleanup spot into the 5th spot in the lineup, trying to jumpstart him, maybe take a little pressure off. Average at .264. A lot of singles, not many extra base hits. The first pitch to him, and it's a ball. There is a very, and I mean very, light rain falling here at the ballpark. More of a mist rain in the area here in the Midwest. And the 1-0 pitch. Ozuna hits the runner at third, and that's why you take your lead in foul territories. And one got Yadier Molina. Wow. Great teaching moment here for young ball players as to why you take that lead in foul territory.
And if it hits him in fair territory, here's the lead. Yadi's foul, so the ball's foul. If he's in fair territory, he's out. And a little playful exchange between Ozuna and Molina, as if Yadi's saying, is that your best shot?
Pretty good one. That was 104 off the bat miles per hour.
I'm glad he was smiling about it.
Oh man, may have gotten him in the right spot too. You catch my drift.
I caught it.
Ozuna hits it down the right field line, foul. 2-2. They shade him a bit to right center. The bases are loaded, nobody out. And a 2-2 pitch to the Cardinals slugger, Ozuna. Out of play.
What's going through Quintana's mind right now is, how do I minimize the damage? And Ozuna, how do I maximize it? Plenty of opportunity here in the first inning to just put a big number up on the board, and Quintana gets a double play. He can breathe a lot easier and settle into a close game, but he's got work to do.
It's another 2-2. Now time is called. Alec Mills, by the way, for the Cubs, sent down before the game. Corey Mazzoni added to their bullpen from the right side. That just missed, and the count runs full. You want intrigue in this rivalry, you've got it now. Bases loaded, full count. Marcell Ozuna at the plate. Now time called again.
like Ozuna's having some issues with his eyes. I wonder if it's the rain falling or contact lens, but he stepped out. And Adam Olson, the head athletic trainer for the Cardinals, looking on. Want to make sure you see the 3-2 pitch, don't you?
Absolutely. Third time the count has run full. Already 3 batters this inning. Ozuna with a drive into left center. Grand slammer! 5-0 Cardinals.
I guess Ozuna saw this one. It was a curveball, 3-2, down in the middle of the plate, and he smokes it to deep left center field. And the Cardinals have been waiting for the power of Ozuna to erupt.
And a strike to Tommy Pham. 5-0 Cardinals here in the bottom of the first. The reaction of Yachty. The 0-1. And still nobody out. Boy, are you right. Cardinal fans all year have been waiting to see Marcell Ozuna bust out of it.
And so is he.
Good point.
And he's been doing the work. He's been trying to find that stroke. He's gone in and out timing wise, but the timing on that was just right.
Inside corner on Tommy Pham. 5th career grand slam for Ozuna. His 2nd this year. And the 2-2 pitch. Inside, and again the 4th time now he's gone to a 3-2 count on one of the Cardinal hitters here in the bottom of the first. Chopped foul. Home run measured at 434 feet off the bat of Marcell Ozuna. Last grand slam was on June 3rd against the Pirates.
Dexter Fowler awaiting his first appearance in this game against his former team. He's been swinging the bat better. The Cardinals offense, Dan, is definitely trending upward.
Mark Budaska and George Greer, the new hitting coaches. That's Mark in the middle, George Greer there on the right. 3-2 pitch. The strikeout of Pham. And the first out recorded by Quintana here at the bottom of the first. It's a strikeout. It took him 34 pitches to get that out. The switch hitting Dexter Fowler. We were talking to Mike Schilt in his office before the game. They are seeing a lot of little things going in the right direction for Fowler. And those little things adding up to what we saw last night. A walk, base hit, hard hit ball, outfield assist, all those things.
Been having much better at bats right-handed along with that. And that was an issue for him early in the season. The average was so low right-handed. The idea was, well, maybe we can't play him, maybe we have to platoon him. But at this point, the job is his again. And he just has to keep earning it.
The 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. inside corner. 6 batters in a row have reached a 3-ball count against Quintana.
You mentioned the pitch count. Next one will be 39. If you're Joe Madden, you already have to be thinking about how many innings do I have in my bullpen today.
And it's another walk, the 3rd in this inning. And it brings in Jairo Munoz. I think most would tell you that when you make a trade, you hope it's beneficial for both sides. And Stephen Piscotty got to go back home to Oakland. He's refound his stroke at the plate. He's really had a big month of July and part of the success of the A's. But on the flip side, the Cardinals have gotten a young player here in Jairo Munoz who's versatile, and he is starting to come into his own too.
Started in spring training, and we weren't sure who he was at first. In fact, he wasn't the guy in that trade that was the most talked about. It was Max Schrock, the second baseman who's in Memphis. But Munoz had a couple at bats in spring training, just kept getting better and better and better. And no matter where he was put in the field, he held his own. Still not sure what his best position is.
I do know one thing, his arm will play anywhere. He has got an absolute cannon.
You want him to pitch? Is that what you're saying?
I'll give him a shot. Why not? Enough position players lately have been doing it anyway.
That's right.
Joe Madden's been doing that a bunch. He had Anthony Rizzo pitching in a blowout game, and it really, I say blowout, it looked like it with a position player pitching, but he was trying to save his bullpen. And you never know, you may see that again today. But it's becoming a trend in baseball, and I say a trend within the last 3 to 4 weeks, where position players are coming in, giving you outs and trying to save a bullpen and saying, well, we essentially know we're not going to win this game. Live to fight another day. 2-2. Pitch number 45 coming up for Quintana here in the first inning. Outfield is deep there straight away. It's another full count. Are you seeing anything mechanically right now with Quintana?
I'm just seeing a weary pitcher right now. His arm slot's changing from pitch to pitch, so he's not really repeating his delivery. Trying to get that fastball in on right-handers, and he's just coming underneath it or pulling it across. He can't get the right release point.
Runner goes, it's Fowler. That's into right field. That ball is fair. Into the corner. Fowler rounding third. He'll score. And Munoz to second base. 6-0 Cardinals here in the bottom of the first, and still going. Again, Mike Schultz starting the runner. Action, activity, movement, excitement here at the ballpark.
Well, we were talking about the movement and what that creates in terms of pressure on the defense. No chance to throw out Fowler because he was moving on the pitch. And instead of second and third, and you know, the opposite of that is just station to station baseball. And that gets a little boring, number one, and it's not as effective, number two.
Turn to Rick Horton's Toyota, key to the game.
Well, since we're on that subject, keep moving. And again, talking with Mike Schultz, he wants his players to keep moving on the bases. He wants really his whole lineup, he said, be ready to move on pitches, on 3-1 counts, on 3-2 counts. And part of that keep moving, Dan, I think that's a bigger picture comment. It's also keeping moving on defense. The outfield play has gotten quicker. The infield play has gotten crisper. And I think as a team, they need to keep moving too and move past kind of the doldrums they've been in.
Pitch number 50 coming up. Cardinals batting around here in this first inning. A strikeout of Michaelis, the second out recorded now. And the second time for Matt Carpenter to dig in here in the first. runner at second base. It'll be a different look defensively concerning a shift for Carpenter.
You know, another reason he bunted in that first inning, he was just 2 for 15 against Quintana.
Sure. Little check swing, hit left side, and Ian Happ makes the play. The Cardinals with 4 hits, 6 runs, 4 of the 6 scoring on one swing of the bat. The grand slam, Marcell Ozuna. Redbirds on top, 6-0 after 1. The field, and Jim Hayes standing by. Jimmy.
Dan, Cardinal starter Michael Wacha has been on the DL with a left oblique strain since June 21st. Today, he took a big step forward. Wacha on the field, threw for the first time today since the injury, playing catch with Kolten Wong. Wacha told me there's no timetable for his return, but he said, all I know is I feel good right now. It's a little different coming back from an oblique, but this is a good day one. Wacha had been having such a good season for the Cardinals. 8-2 with a 3.20 ERA. Dan, it'll be a while before Michael gets back. That was a big loss for the Cardinals.
And we also saw him playing catch there with Kolten Wong. Do you have an update on Kolten for our fans, Jimmy?
The knee is coming along just fine. It was swollen. That's why Kolten went on the DL. He said he feels great and he expects to be back soon, Dan.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Contreras hits one up the middle. It's a jam shot. Munoz ranging to his right and showing off that arm. Nice play.
Kolten approves. Again, not sure what Munoz's best position is, but he's been holding his own everywhere. That ball was jammed a little bit by Contreras. And when you have to make an off-balance throw, you better have a good arm. And Munoz does.
Here's Kyle Schwarber, 19 home runs this year. And a fastball in there for a strike. And a grounder that's foul outside the first base bag. 0-2 the count. Schwarber with tremendous power. That pitch in the dirt, 1-2. Our buddy Mac is helping us with our stats up here in the booth, making sure Ricky doesn't mess up. There's a strikeout of Kyle Schwarber. So Michaelis gets the strikeout. The MLB At Bat mobile app brings every baseball moment to your favorite devices. Catch it all season with the free MLB.tv Game of the Day. Live radio broadcast, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. #1 app for live baseball. Ian Happ, the switch hitter. Mentioned, Ricky, that Chris Bryant dealing with a sore shoulder, and that's a big loss right now for the Cubs.
Such a big part of their offense in that #2 spot, and of course you've got a lot of other tools there too with Baez and Contreras and Schwarber, and yet Bryant is such a dangerous right-handed hitter, and I think he's turned into a pretty good defender as well. Like the way he plays third base, so certainly he's missed.
The pitch a little bit high, and it's 3-1. One of the things you'll notice with Miles Michaelis, a very simple, direct step towards the plate. And if you go back to when he was with San Diego or Texas, the front left leg would land towards the first base side. Opened up a lot, pitches would sail. Now it's almost directly to the chest of Yadier Molina. And a ground ball that's hit to Munoz. Stays with it, and he makes the play. Coming up, Molina, DeYoung, and Martinez. 6-0 midway through 2. With a grand slam, the Cardinals 4 hits and a 6-0 lead. Let's take a look at our Kia Drive to Success since the All-Star break. The 36-year-old Yadier Molina. Most guys getting tired, the dog days of summer. And Rick Horton, this guy's getting better and better.
And he wants to play every day. I think that's part of his value to the Cardinals, is not only is he a top performer, but he's a durable performer. You just don't see him taking the Sundays off or the one game out of every series off. He's in each game, wants to play, wants to catch. Last year he led all of Major League Baseball in innings caught, and it's just something I think he takes pride in. And keeping himself ready to play at a high level every day isn't easy, especially for catchers.
He was the oldest All-Star by over a year of any other player that was in the Midsummer Classic. He's now made that team 9 different times. And the 0-1 pitch. Reaching for it, rounds it to short. Baez, plenty of time, and makes the play for the first out. But for Joe Madden, you're hoping to get now a little length out of Quintana.
Well, he threw 3 innings worth of pitches in the first inning, and you want to get down to that 14, 15 pitches per inning if you can going forward, to think maybe he can get through 5, but even that wouldn't be that easy.
There's Paul DeYoung. Walked and scored back in the first inning. Cardinals sent 10 men to the plate. And the first pitch, a ball. One ball and 1 strike. The Cardinals in many ways remade their bullpen last night. Tyler Webb, Dakota Hudson, Daniel Ponce de Leon, Greg Holland released, designated for assignment Tyler Lyons. So different look out there.
You think they have each other's names down yet?
They spent enough time out there by now.
I bet they have. We talked to Mike Schilt about that whole concept of managing change, and it's part of the game. You know, you have guys come in and out.
That'll carry to center field, and the catch made by Almora. Tonight, former champions highlight Fox UFC Fight Night. It's all tonight at 6 Eastern on Fox, or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. What's new for some of those guys that are out there in the bullpen? For Dakota Hudson, he hasn't appeared in a game, and so it's going to be new for Mike Schilt too. Here's Jose Martinez, and a single into center. Martinez on base for the second time to go along with a bases loaded walk. And it brings in Marcell Ozuna. This is the grand slam. StatCast powered by AWS. It was a 3-2 pitch. He went with the breaking ball, and Ozuna went down to get it. And it's a base hit into right. Martinez to second. Throw by Hayward to third is in time, and the Gold Glover gunned him down. Jose Oquendo looking into the Cardinals dugout as if to say, not so sure. What a throw by Hayward.
The throw was right on the money. The Cubs get a lot of outfield assists. Schwarber has 8 of them, but Hayward's got the big arm, and this throw right on the third base bag.
1-0 lead as we go to the top of the third here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It's Jose Quintana, David Bodie, and Anthony Rizzo. And a strike to Quintana, and we're underway here in the third.
Sometimes you have a pitching matchup where both pitchers can really swing the bat. This would not be one of them.
No, sir. Quintana is still looking for his first hit of the year.
2 for 83 in his career. Michaelis 2 for 39 in his career.
Now Michaelis, we thought, wow, we may have a power hitter here. In that first game that he appeared against Milwaukee, he hit a home run. Uh-oh, you may have a play at first. Fowler, can he get him? No.
How about that?
And the announcer jinx is in full effect.
Oh, good for him. I believe Quintana needed a little bright spot at his rough start right here, and they can't believe it. Just sticks his bat out, and Fowler did have sights on throwing him out. Fairly close.
So base hit to right for Quintana. And the 9th place hitter is David Bodie.
You know, we have a rule you can't do that. The Cardinals fantasy can't.
Can't throw a guy out at first.
Right. Because you do it a lot.
Yes, you would. There's a ground ball. How about a double play? 6-4-3, even after the hesitation, getting it out of the glove by Munoz.
Michaelis gets the ground ball. He's good at getting those. Jamming Bodie. The feed was fine. It's just a little hesitation there by Munoz, but the arm made up for it.
And it brings in Rizzo, who's in the leadoff spot. Really is unique. You think about Rizzo at the top of their lineup. Carpenter, 25 home runs at the top of the Cardinal lineup. You get some power right away. His numbers as a leadoff man: 3 home runs, the high average. He's driven in 10, scored 7. He's homered in his last 2 games. Had a walk-off against the Diamondbacks on Thursday. Good breaking ball. And a home run here to deep right last night.
What you do for both Rizzo and Carpenter by hitting them first is you maximize the number of at-bats they're going to have in a series. And if they're 2 of your best hitters, then why not? We're so far away, Dan, from the old prototypical lineup, and I'm talking decades ago, where it was always a speedster number 1, it was a bat control guy number 2, best hitter number 3, power number 4, second power guy number 5, and then the rest.
Jammed him. Carpenter, 8-pitch inning for Miles Michaelis, sends us to the home half of the third. Redbirds on top here in game 2. FS1. First, Giancarlo Stanton leads the Yankees, a huge divisional battle against Mookie Betts and the Red Sox. Then Mike Trout and the Angels take on Francisco Lindor and the Indians. Coverage begins next Saturday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on Fox. Stream it live on the Fox Sports app. And a ball to Tommy Pham was called out on strikes in the first inning. The 6th batter in the lineup, and that was the first out that Quintana got. The 1-0.
Think of the saying that, Dan, that we've heard for decades, that when the Cardinals and Cubs go up against each other, you never know what to expect, despite where they are in the standings at the time. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think the rivalry's been so much fun over the years, and I'm not sure you would have predicted a 6-0 early Cardinal lead here against a club that leads the Central Division after a win here yesterday.
You'd have to think too, it's a little bit demoralizing for the Cubs to fall behind 6-0 and face Michaelis. That's the other aspect of this as well.
Well, it lessens the hope factor for them. It doesn't mean that they're not out of the game, because their lineup's so powerful from top to bottom, and you also have to factor in what's ahead for the Cardinal bullpen in 7, 8, and 9 if they're needed.
Fly ball into deep right. Hayward back at the wall, and he's got it. As we saw in his time in St. Louis, he is not just a good defender, elite in right field. Jason Hayward.
Well, we saw the arm already, throwing out Jose Martinez, and now you get the glove part. His height helped. Not sure whether that ball would have gotten out or not, but a terrific play and a good route for Jason Hayward.
Now Fowler, and a strike. Oh, and 2. Pitch to Fowler. Dexter from this side of the plate had a base hit last night, a walk. We mentioned the outfield assist from Wright. And the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball left side. Snared by Happ. Spins and gets him by a half step. MLB.TV now available at a lower price for $82.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. And your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer, $82.99. Jairo Munoz. And a souvenir for this big crowd here in St. Louis. A packed house at Busch Stadium.
I think by any measurement, the Cardinals would say they've been disappointed by the record so far, right around 500 for most of the season, up and down from that a bit, but still averaging 42,396 here at home. That's tremendous.
The next to Munoz. And 2 strikes on the Cardinals' second baseman. This market size, it is incredible. Now we say it's the St. Louis Cardinals, but it is a regional brand, a regional team. And weekends will bring in fans from all over the Midwest. The 1-2 pitch. Munoz has been very tough to put away in this spot. His average with 2 strikes is .283. That's in the top 5 in all of baseball. Not bad for a rookie. We've already seen 6 3-2 counts from Quintana. And now we'll get a 7.
Just not hitting that inside corner. He keeps going back to it and just does not have the feel for it.
Munoz double into the right field corner, picked up an RBI back in the first inning. And the 3-2 pitch is grounded up the middle. Baez to his left, slings it over to Rizzo for the out. And the first 1-2-3 inning for Quintana. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Cubs. Tommy is going to move that shot back, and then there she is, Erica Weston, and Yadi's made some history today, hasn't he?
He has, Dan. Yeah, Yadi is playing in his 1,821st career game as a St. Louis Cardinal. That is good for 4th all-time on the list. With his start today, he passes Enos Slaughter on that list, and at age 36, he continues to impress. Now, Yadi missed 26 games this season with a groin injury, yet he's having one of his most productive seasons at the plate. Another 3-hit night last night, making that his 2nd straight 3-hit game. Of course, the debate goes on about Yadi's Hall of Fame status. Interim manager Mike Schilt saying today before the game it can't be debated. He knows it will, but you look at how people make an impact and it can't be debated. He's been a stalwart and a face of the franchise for a period of time, and he carries that mantle very well. Dan.
Good stuff. Thank you, Erica. What an outstanding play there by Carpenter to take a hit away from Almora.
Almora just trying to get something going, and Carpenter is having nothing of it. That's all about the jump you get. You've got to see the batter go up on the bat and show bunt, and then you've got to start right away. If you wait, or if you're flat-footed, you don't have time to make that play. Interesting that Carpenter, I think, throws better from down there than he does from up top.
I think it looks more natural.
Yes.
But he gets enough on the baseball to get it there. And now it's Hayward. We talked about the stance of Jason Hayward a little bit last night. Things have changed for him with his stance, where he's at the plate, and with his numbers.
Just doesn't look tied up, and he's going the other way much better.
The second Cubs hit today, a base hit to left by Hayward.
Just straighter to the ball. He's just not tied up. He can hit this pitch away. That curveball had a little bit of a hump to it, as opposed to the sharp one that we've seen from Michaelis. But I don't think Jason Hayward hits that ball that way and that hard last year with where he was with his batting stance.
A lot of times we would see him either swing through it or a ground ball to second. There's Javi Baez grounded into a fielder's choice back in the first. Cardinals turned a double play in the third. And a strike to Baez. This guy is such an exciting player to watch.
Well, thinking about Hayward and Baez both, it's why you don't give up on athletes. Hayward last year was maybe the out in the lineup at times. He was hitting down in the lineup, and now he's a force again.
That's driven out to deep right. Will it stay fair? It is, and it's a home run. Over the wall and right, and the Cubs get on the board. A 2-run homer by Baez, his second home run in the series, and it's now 6-2. A bullet the opposite way.
A lot of ground ball outs in the first 3 innings of this game, and the Cubs have come out hitting the ball the other way this inning. First it was Hayward, and now Baez, and did he ever hit it? It was a rope right in the corner.
First home run allowed by Michaelis in his last 41 innings. It's a new career high in runs batted in for Javi Baez. He's up to 77. And we're not even at the end of July. His career high was 75.
We talked about the Cubs' explosive lineup. Just can't fully count them out of any game, and just got tighter here in the fourth.
Wilson Contreras grounded to second first time up. Cubs are also one of those teams that have a lot of comeback wins and a lot of wins trailing by wide margins 6th inning or later. That's a byproduct of all the talent up and down their lineup. There's a ground ball that's hit to short. Paul DeYoung up with it. That's out number 2. Manage your dream team in franchise mode. Plus, get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18. It's available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. There's Schwarber, struck out back in the second. The lone strikeout for Miles Michaelis. When the Cubs trail 6th inning or later, they have 11 wins. That's a lot. The specialization of the game at bullpens, dominant closers. So you get the idea. The game is far from over. Nothing into the count on Schwarber.
Sometimes you'll be in Wrigley Field, especially the last 2 seasons, and you'll say, well, this game's not over because this is Wrigley Field. And the reality of what has happened and can happen in that ballpark with a lot of quick runs, especially if the wind's blowing out. But it isn't that it's Wrigley Field, it's that it's the Cubs. I think maybe too much stock in the, well, it's a Wrigley Field phenomenon. It's just a team that can strike so quickly, power all the way up and down the lineup, including at the plate at the moment.
2-2 the count. Started 0-2 in this at bat with Kyle Schwarber. And Schwarber reaching for it and taps it foul. This guy is a dangerous at bat. He'll strike out his fair share, but tremendous power. Spoil that pitch in a souvenir.
If you were going to start a softball team with your buddies and say, hey, we're just going to go out and play on the weekends and we're just going to have fun doing it, I think this guy'd be a top 3 draft choice, wouldn't he?
#1 overall.
#1.
Since Matt Stairs is out of the league, I'm going with Kyle Schwarber.
I mean, he's got a good job already. I'm not saying he's ready to go do something else.
I get you. #1 overall. That's my choice. Jesus Aguilar at close second. Just got a piece.
I think Aaron Judge would have to be on the draft list.
Oh yeah, Stanton too.
Oh yeah.
But I like the big burly guys that just, you know, they just grab a bat, no big deal, and just start knocking the ball everywhere.
I wouldn't want to pitch that game.
No sir. The 2-2. Good at bat here by Schwarber. And now he runs the count full. The 10th pitch of the at bat coming up. Jesse Chavez is throwing in the Cubs pen as Schwarber taps that foul. And Chavez has been outstanding for the Cubs thus far.
Pitched well against the Cardinals at Wrigley Field, and he's up because it's very possible that you get to the 8th spot in the lineup this inning. And if there's a couple runners aboard, Madden may want to go for the big inning.
And the 3-2. And out of play. Regardless of what happens in this at bat with Schwarber, the pitch count escalates. I'm sure they're thinking the sooner they can get into the bullpen, they've got a shot against the Cardinals. It's another 3-2 pitch. And Schwarber breaks his bat and lifts it out to left for a base hit. Outstanding plate appearance by Kyle Schwarber.
Well, you earned that. Our #1 choice for our men's softball team takes that pitch the other way, just off the end of the bat. That was a good 2-strike approach. He was not kind of giving in to the long ball big swing with 2 strikes. He just wanted to keep this going against Michaelis. Another hit in this inning the other way. All 3 of them have been Cubs taking the ball the other way.
Is that Mike Maddox just giving Michaelis a breather after that long at bat?
Been such a positive influence in terms of his style of working with the pitching staff. Always kind of trying to pick a pitcher up, puts his arm on his shoulder, sometimes 2, as we mentioned, and the breather helps.
So 2 outs. The switch hitting Ian Happ. And strike 1.
Adam Wainwright loves to say that. Best thing a pitcher can do is remember that you have to breathe.
He picked that up from Jason Isringhausen when Jason was hurt. That great run of 2006, Wainwright became the closer, and that's one of the things that he talked about. You have to learn to control your breath and not get out of gas out there.
And he remembered that advice from Jason Isringhausen after he stepped off the mound with a game on the line in New York in the playoffs. Carlos Beltran at the plate, when he threw a nasty curveball to strike him out. He stepped off the mound and remembered that piece of advice, and he says it helped him.
Mike Schill telling us before the game that Wainwright will begin a throwing program here fairly shortly, and we'll see what they have.
Just like having him around.
Agreed. 1-2 pitch, lifted into center field. A breaking pitch has had a little hump in it this inning. All of a sudden now, with Quintana's spot coming up, Tommy LaStella will be the pinch hitter. So to your point, this is one of their best shots of the day against Miles Michaelis. They're going to go for it.
You have him on the ropes. He's dazed a bit, so you just keep pushing it. And Quintana probably didn't have very many innings left anyway. after that long first inning. So certainly a short start for Quintana, but if you're Joe Madden, you're thinking we're on a roll, keep going.
Jason Isringhausen, a guy that many of these pitchers, especially in the minor leagues, lean on. Jason now working for the Cardinals, the all-time saves leader in franchise history. That pitch ruled a ball, even though it was right down the middle, and a strike. Greg Gibson, our home plate umpire, he missed that one. It happens. 2-0. And it's 2-1. It's been a long inning here for Michaelis. Began with a bunt attempt by Almora. Good play by Carpenter. Hayward the single to left. 2-run homer by Baez. Contreras grounded out to short. Schwarber a 12-pitch at bat, base hit to left. Happ the base hit to center. And now a 2-1 count on Tommy La Stella. He lifts a fly ball into left center. Bam on the move with room, and he makes the catch. Javi Baez with home run number 21 to get the Cubs on the board. 6-2 baseball on FS1. And a strike to Miles Michaelis as we're underway in the home half of the fourth. Jesse Chavez was picked up about 10 days ago from Texas. This our Chevy call to the pen.
And he was thrown right into the fire against the Cardinals. Actually pitched 2 days in a row, pitched both weekend games, Saturday and Sunday.
Those are glasses that he's wearing, not necessarily sunglasses, but he in Texas couldn't find his contacts, so he went with that look with the glasses on and got very comfortable with it, so he decided to stay with it, and that's why he wears them now. And Miles Michaelis thrilled with that base hit to center.
I feel like somebody said that both the pitchers in this game probably weren't going to get hits.
That was you.
Okay. Well, wrong again. Miles Michaelis, his 3rd hit of the season. Carlos was happy. Miles hasn't had a chance to do that little power move there at standing on first base in a while, has he?
Not very often.
But
when it does get a hit, it's circling the bases.
Right.
Matt Carpenter. His career high in homers is 28. He looks to shatter that mark with still 2+ months left to go in the regular season. And he lifts a fly ball into left. Schwarber with the catch. See Vladimir Guerrero, Trevor Hoffman, Chipper Jones, Jack Morris, Jim Thome, and Alan Trammell join baseball's Immortals 2018 Hall of Fame induction ceremony live from Cooperstown tomorrow on MLB Network, MLB.com as well. Coverage begins at 11 Eastern. Right before our first pitch, I got a phone call from our colleague Tim McCarver, who is in Cooperstown. He himself a Ford C. Fricko Award recipient, and he's there for Bob Costas. They're all expected to go to a private dinner tonight. He said it's just been wonderful to be around Bob and the excitement around Cooperstown this weekend.
Well, all of those being inducted are certainly deserving. I have a special place in my heart for Jim Thome because we were teammates when he was a minor league player. He was on the way up, I was on the way down, but you could just tell this guy was a special hitter. Didn't know he'd be that special, but I'm very happy for him.
And a fly ball into right. Catch made by Jason Hayward. Jim Thome grew up not too far from St. Louis and had an outstanding career.
Every time I think about the way I just described that story, I remember Lee Thomas, who was the director of the minor leagues, saying, be careful how you treat the people on the way up because you'll see them again on the way down. And he was right.
And
it's absolutely true.
You saw Jim Thome on the way down. Here's Paul DeYoung and a strike. He's walked and scored on the grand slam hit by Ozuna in the first inning and fly to center. The 0-1. It's hard to fathom that the Cleveland Indians did not win a World Series with Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, Vizquel, Alomar, Albert Bell. They were loaded. Tough chance for Happ. It's off his glove, and DeYoung is aboard.
Just saw that one coming, didn't you? You could tell that second hop was going to be a hard one and a high one. He was trying to get it on the short hop, but a lot of top spin on this, and boom, like a Super Bowl.
Ruled a base hit. Real tough chance for Happ, and extends the inning to Jose Martinez on base twice. Bases loaded walk in the first, and a single in inning number 2. That's out of play. Boy, that's one that Chavez normally has a very sharp slider, and it drops down tough on right-handed batters, and
that was hittable.
That was hittable. Big cut by Jose Martinez. And the 0-1. 0-2 as he tied him up. John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, telling Jim Hayes yesterday after a bevy of moves, we're not done. So you got guys that have value. Number of players on this roster. And Mike Schilt, we were talking about that today in his office. He said, look, we've got talent to win here. And that's what I'm trying to enforce on our players, to make sure they understand we can win.
You said we deal with who's here, not who's
right.
not.
And the 0-2. Fouled back in a good rip. Mike has been just wonderful to be around in how he deals with the media. He's always positive. As you said, he stays in the moment. Yesterday is yesterday. Tomorrow we'll deal with Sunday Night Baseball. But right now I'm here to win this game. And he manages aggressively. And it's a fun style that fans want to watch.
You know, he won 3 championships in the minor leagues, as we've mentioned, and asked him to describe his style. And he had to think about it for a bit. And I just think he says, I want to bring it every day. I want to be prepared and be there every day doing what I can do. And that's something that you would hope every player, every manager, every coach would do, but it's tougher than you think in this game when you play every single day for 6 months. But that's what he wants to be as a baseball man.
Time called. And the 1-2 is swung on and missed, and Chavez gets out of the jam. Cardinals strand a pair. They've left 4 on. We head to inning number 5 on the banks of the Mississippi. Brought to you by St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, guardians of childhood. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Reports beginning to circulate that Matt Holliday will sign a minor league deal with the Colorado Rockies. He's been doing some work for MLB Radio and maybe not out of his system yet. And goes back to the team that originally drafted him. Last year with the Yankees, great run with the Cardinals. And we'll see the Rockies on this homestand. David Boney, the 9th place hitter for Chicago, looks at a strike. He grounded into a double play back in inning number 3. So would that be something? There's a grounder, backhanded by DeYoung, settles, throws, and makes the play. Anthony Rizzo today is 0 for 2, but last night we mentioned he's homered in back-to-back games. Here it was, game 1, And a long one into right here at Busch Stadium. Such tremendous power. His 14th home run of the year. And that's a look at your GMC leaderboard, and he's moving up that all-time list in Cubs history.
He was quick on that ball in, and we mentioned last night that when we saw Rizzo early in the season, he was getting jammed badly on fastballs in. Had almost an awkward swing, like a field swing. And Joey Votto was doing the same thing when we went to Cincinnati. Both sluggers just were not right yet. Their timing was off. But he's turning on it now.
Breaks his bat. Munoz can't come up with it. May have been distracted by the bat flying towards him. It is ruled a base hit, but if he fields that cleanly, I think he's out with his arm.
Yeah, I agree. Deep in the kitchen. Most of the bat and the baseball head to the right side of the infield, and Munoz, I don't know if he just took his eye off of it. Did it twice, in fact, trying to get a handle on the ball. And he would have thrown out Rizzo had he cleanly fielded it.
Albert Almora is 0 for 2. Grounded to third. Tried to bunt back in the fourth. Outstanding play by Matt Carpenter. And he looks at strike one.
One of the things the Cardinals are trying to clean up, and we've talked about the base running already, but it's also the defense. Trying to make less errors. And that was not an error, but errors will kill you. You have to get 4 outs in an inning, and that's really what Michaelis is doing here.
But this will help.
It sure will.
4, 6, 3 on the double play. A 6-pitch inning for Michaelis. 6-2 St. Louis on FS1. The Cardinal left fielder Marcell Ozuna here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 for 2 with a grand slam. That was off of Quintana, the starter for the Cubs, who only lasted 3 innings. The shift on the left side of the infield as Ozuna bloops one down the right field line. That ball will drop, and he's 3 for 3. And now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Went down to get it, and a grand slam off the bat of Marcell Ozuna.
This is the game's biggest moment so far, and it came early. Marcell Ozuna got the curveball, was looking for it. I think his arms were back on a 3-2 delivery, and it was down in the middle of the plate, and it's the power that the Cardinals have been looking for from their left fielder.
Now Tommy Pham is struck out. That was looking in the first and fly to right. 6-2 our score as Pham hits it out of play.
I'll say this about Ozuna. He's a lot like Fowler. You see a lot of smiles from Marcell Ozuna, and he's been that way even when he's been in the midst of slumps. He's just been kind of fun to be around. Light-hearted, I would say.
And enjoying his first 3-hit game since June 5th, and that was against Miami. Right out of the break, it looked like Tommy Pham was going to go one of those patented runs.
Right. Thought so too.
It's cooled just a bit, and that's fouled back. Nothing in 2.
We got a little tune-up on his swing during the All-Star break. He didn't take an All-Star break. He swung during his All-Star break to get the timing right, and it was there for a bit.
And a fly ball lifted into right, backing up Hayward. First out here in the bottom of the 5th. Dexter Fowler walked and scored back in the first and grounded out to third. And Fowler pops it down the left field line. That ball drops. But Baez may dive after that.
Well, he's got great speed, but that's what the shift does to you. Sometimes it works, and more times than not, the shift works. That's why they do it. But had he been playing more towards the hole at shortstop, that's a play he makes.
Well, certainly you think about the bunt here if you're Dexter Fowler.
100%.
Showing it there. Munoz at the on-deck circle.
I actually think it's a mistake to allow him the opportunity to bunt. And it's a little bit like the Carpenter bunt early. Carpenter 2 for 15 against the starter Quintana, and yet you're giving him a bunt single.
Look at all that room on the left side of the infield. But if you're Joe Madden, he drops down a bunt. Now you run the risk what could be a big inning.
Yeah. And you're sacrificing power potential from Fowler. I get it, but he's not having a good offensive year. Take the hit.
Lifted in the air to center. Almora a few steps in to make the catch. There's 2 away. An exclusive documentary series is coming to Fox. Follow the NFL's #1 draft pick as he navigates his way through the complex world of pro football all the way up. Baker Mayfield, part 1 tomorrow, 3 Eastern on Fox. Stream it on the Fox Sports app. Now Munoz, he doubled into the right field corner back in the first inning. And strike 1. He's also grounded out to short. About that time of year, training camps opening up around the NFL, and certainly college football right behind. Affectionately known as the dog days for baseball players. He's a Browns fan. He's had some tough years. Oh-2 pitch and a strikeout of Munoz. Good work by Chavez with 2 scoreless innings. Well, we mentioned it earlier, the uptick in power from Paul DeYoung recently, the Cardinals shortstop. More on that. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Dan, coming into today's game, DeYoung had 8 extra base hits in his previous 9 games. DeYoung, who had been on the DL with a broken bone in his left hand, told me, I feel like it's about rhythm and timing, not strength or flexibility in the hand. Lately, I've been feeling better at the plate. I'm not rolling over. I'm not striking out, and I'm driving the ball. Dan, DeYoung has now hit safely in 15 of 18 games since coming off the DL. Now we're seeing the power start to kick in. That's good news for the Cardinals.
No question. And here's a guy that was called up May 28th of last year. Hit a home run off of Greg Holland. His first ever plate appearance in the big leagues. And really never stopped after that.
One of the other things you worry about when a player misses a lot of time due to injury is not just his timing at the plate, but how about his timing in the field? Shortstop's an important position, and you've got to play that well. And he's had some errant throws since coming back, but I think the footwork's been good. A lot of work with Jose Oquendo.
Hayward hits it down the left field line and out of play. Paul was telling me the other day about Oquendo. It's not just hitting fungos and making you move left or right and trying your range. It's the first step that Jose has really worked on with him, and in general footwork around the bag. Jammed him. Slow roller up the first base line. Martinez steps on the bag for the out. We turn now to our Nissan drive of the game, and a 2-run shot to right. Javi Baez, home run number 21. He's now driven in 77. That got out in a hurry the opposite way. Takes such a vicious cut when he's at the plate. The average at 297.
There's one of those vicious cuts right on cue. Doesn't get cheated.
Michaelis has been pitching ahead in the count, 18 of 22 first pitch strikes. That's the pitch earlier in his career, Baez, that you could get him to chase a lot.
And again, you chase it with 1 strike, but will he chase it with 2 strikes, or will he be more selective and he shortens up and go the other way? We've seen him do that a couple of times in this series, and more times than he did when he first came to the big leagues.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and two. And the next 2, Baez. Got him. Second strikeout of the day.
And that's something I haven't seen out of Michaelis. This is a little Adam Wainwright trick. Change your delivery. He started, then he stopped, and then he continued. And we talk about Wainwright's ability to change speeds in multiple ways. One is by throwing a different pitch. One is by throwing the pitch harder and softer, and another is by changing your delivery. And that's what Michaelis did. And I think that fooled Baez.
And strike 1 on Wilson Contreras.
I think I just saw him say the word timing. I'm not a very good lip reader, which actually comes in handy. I just as soon not. But I think he said timing there.
Now, Michaelis had the rough 4th inning and then a 6-pitch 5th, and that may be the key inning in this game. He was on the ropes a little bit.
I'm sure we have some lip reader friends that might confirm or deny that that's what Adam was talking about, the timing on that hesitation for Michaelis.
The 0-2 pitch. Rain falling ever so lightly here at the ballpark. It's partly cloudy, so just one of those clouds dropping a little rain here at Busch Stadium. The 1-2 fouled back. Talked about the flair of Javi Baez. This young man plays with a lot of flair too.
Sure does.
Wilson Contreras.
And a ton of ability.
One ball, 2 strikes. And the next. In right, Fowler chasing it. Foul territory and out of play.
One of the ways I would describe Contreras, Dan, and it can sound insulting, and it's not really what I mean to say, that he's a good mistake hitter. Now, I'm not saying that's all he can hit, but if you make a mistake to him, I would say he's better than most players I've seen in the National League this year at hurting you if you make a mistake to him. He's got plenty of other good attributes, but don't hang him one.
And the 1-2 pitch by Michaelis. There was that little hesitation again. A lot of times when Wainwright would deliver, his delivery would take his hands at times, not always, but above the head, and then stop, pause, and then deliver. Got him to reach. A grounder hit to Carpenter. Loves, throws, and makes the play. A 1-2-3 for Michaelis. We head to the bottom of the 6th. 6-2 St. Louis. Our cricket wireless something to smile about. Miles Michaelis with this base hit. Smiles in the dugout and a smile at first base. Michaelis is through for the afternoon. And Greg Garcia will be the pinch hitter. Chavez his 3rd inning of work and a ground ball that's hit to second. Greg Garcia is the first out. Michaelis had 90 pitches today, 15 ground ball outs. He struck out 2, only 1 fly ball out.
All in all, a good day's work. And a major league debut awaits us.
It's Dakota Hudson. Very good sinker, a lot of ground balls when he's right.
We talked to Mike Schild about how he would use Dakota Hudson. He talks about him being the power sinker guy that we know he is. We saw him in spring training do that. But he sees him as a 6th inning, 5th, 6th, 7th inning guy where you need a ground ball. But he can also go multiple innings, obviously, because he's been starting in the minor leagues. Started the All-Star game, in fact, in the Pacific Coast League. That's how good a season he was having.
Year before, he was an All-Star at Double-A. Wilson Contreras something in his eye, so medical team out to visit. Such a neat moment. We showed this last night, worth showing again. But how did Dakota Hudson find out he's going to the big leagues? Stubby clap. How cool is that?
Well, normally you go out and you ask for the baseball, and he did ask for the baseball from the pitcher, but he gave him another one that was informing him that he was going to the big leagues. And that's a celebration not only for Dakota Hudson and for his teammates and for Stubby Clapp, his coaches, but everybody that's ever been connected to Dakota Hudson. Neighbors, high school coaches, college teammates.
It's Brian Eversgerd there on the left, the bullpen coach of the Cardinals. As Hudson is getting loose, and he'll pitch in the 7th. The 2-0 pitch to Carpenter, and now 3-0. And it's a walk with 1 out. Second time that Carpenter has been aboard, go along with a bunt base hit back in the 1st.
I thought we would see Dakota Hudson today based on our conversation with Schilt, because he ascribes to the theory in baseball, and I agree with it myself, that you get a new guy up, get him in, get his feet wet, get him used to the surroundings, not just around the ballpark but on the field as soon as possible.
You're left out there to linger and wonder, and you're nervous, and then you go home and you can't sleep.
Best way to feel like you are connected to your teammates is compete with them. If you're just standing there watching them, you're not really part of the show.
And this is to allow the bullpen to get a little time to throw. As Chavez pitching in now his 3rd inning. Steve Cishek, the former Cardinal and Marlin and Seattle Mariner, is throwing in the bullpen for Chicago. A lot of right-handers coming up. You can understand why. He is nasty on right-handed batters. Budweiser, what's on tap? The upcoming schedule for St. Louis. Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow, then 4 with Colorado, and a very important long road trip. Pittsburgh, Miami, Kansas City for St. Louis. Chavez is no stranger to going multiple innings. This is the 11th outing, longer than 2 innings for him this season. As a matter of fact, he had a 5-inning relief stop for Texas. That was against the Angels back on the 1st of June. As Molina hits it out of play.
Oh, he's been a starter, and I think that lends itself to that. The guys who've been starters are typically 3 or 4 pitch pitchers, and can have longer stints out of the bullpen, and they're used to it. They're used to the sitting down, getting up, sitting down, getting up. And I think more valuable than ever in this game now because of the short starts that we see so often from starters.
One and 2 the count. Molina has singled off the glove of Ian Happ down at 3rd. He's grounded to short and also flied out to right. The pitchers there, Weaver, Michaelis, Michael Wacha.
That's the debrief. There'll be more.
And the 2-2 is hit to short. Double play ball, 6-4-3. Chavez 3 scoreless innings to keep the Cubs in this game. It's 6-2, and a major league debut is coming up. Minor league all-star, the BJC Healthcare difference maker. He was 13-3, started the all-star game for the Pacific Coast League. ERA of 2.5. Opponents hit .254 against him. Not a lot of walks, not a ton of strikeouts, but a lot of ground balls.
Well, in the video you got to see this heavy sinker, the good slider, and the four-seamer up in the zone. First round draft choice for the Cardinals in 2016. The first time we saw him in spring training, he pitched in a game as a non-roster player that just came over, and he was lights out. He opened up everybody's eyes. It wasn't hard to figure out that he would be in the big leagues pretty quickly.
Memphis's starting rotation at the beginning of this year: John Gant, Dakota Hudson, Austin Gomber, Jack Flaherty, Daniel Ponce de Leon. All 5 now on the big league roster, all 5 age 26 or younger. I think the Cardinals know what they're doing in terms of drafting some pretty good pitching.
They've not missed. And there's a pretty good one in Alex Reyes in front of Jack Flaherty. He's young.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes on Kyle Schwarber. Austin Gomber there. As we've seen with Mike Schilt, he doesn't waste a lot of time either. In terms of things aren't quite right, or he sees something with a pitcher, he will go immediately in the direction of having at least a backup. And in this case, Gomber ready to go just in case. Baseball happens, and it happens quickly.
Well, he talked about being ahead of the game, and that's one of the things he likes to do. He really be innings ahead of what might happen.
The 2-1 pitch.
Interesting that he's throwing out of the stretch, a guy that as a starter throws out of the windup, but yet coming in from the bullpen, he's chosen to go from the stretch and is searching for his command here.
A 3-1 pitch and a strike. 3-2. And Joe Madden letting Jordan Baker hear about it. The first batter, Schwarber. The 3-2 pitch by Hudson. He struck him out in his major league debut. He gets a strikeout of Kyle Schwarber. In a moment he'll never forget. And a baseball he'll always keep.
Either he'll keep it or he'll give it to a parent or somebody that he wants to thank. But he will remember this moment, that is for sure. Hard slider down and in, struck out Kyle Schwarber will be his answer to that question. Tell us about your first guy that you faced in the big leagues. He will have that story for years to come.
Really a game changer in that at bat was the check swing, and I was in agreement with Joe Madden. I did not think he went, but it went the Cardinals' way, and Hudson came back to get him. Now I could breathe a little bit. It's a good tailing action at 96, 0-2.
So we're glad from a Cardinals point of view that the home plate umpire didn't ask you whether
betcha.
Schwarber had gone or not.
0-2 the count on Ian Happ. Something to keep in mind, and again, this is getting way out in front of ourselves, but because he's a starter, you know, you could say it's not just an inning, it could be multiple innings here today.
I think that's possible.
And the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. And on the flip side of saying that, Mike Schilt might say, you got your inning in, let's get you out. It's a clean inning if you have that, and go to the pen. We'll see. The 2-2. Back-to-back strikeouts in his major league debut.
Well, this is the way he dreamed it up when he was a kid, thinking about pitching in the big leagues, thinking about strikeout to start his major league career. John Mozeliak, I'm sure, very pleased, and he could be the perfect shot in the arm for the Cardinals bullpen. Not just the other changes that have been made with Ponce de Leon out there also, and Gomber moving to the pen, but having this hard sinker, and he's throwing hard too, Danny. 96, 97. This could be a weapon.
Caratini now, Victor Caratini pinch hitting here in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Caratini, for those who don't know, was the batter that lined the ball off the head of Daniel Ponce de Leon in the minor leagues. And Caratini tweeted out this week, congratulations to Daniel. He actually went and visited Daniel in the hospital. Those two have forged a friendship. And a ground ball left side. Major league debut and a scoreless inning for Dakota Hudson as he mixed in a couple of strikeouts, and his teammates love it, and so do the fans here in St. Louis. Our Chevy called to the pen. Steve Cishek. Sidewinder. He'll get Paul DeYoung. And the first pitch taken for a ball. Dakota Hudson. A scoreless major league debut with a pair of strikeouts. Jordan Hicks begins to throw in the Cardinals' pen. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. DeYoung walked back in the first and scored on the grand slam hit by Marcell Ozuna. Cardinals had a 6-run first inning and they lead it 6-2. 2-1. In the second inning, he flied to center. In the fourth, he picked up a single. 1 for 2 on the day. Outfield is straightaway at a 2-1. That's pulled foul, and watch out.
Bello Cooling and Heating, #1 rated. Call now for special offers. Bello, answer the bell.
Along with Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Erica Weston with us. Jim Hayes. 3-2. And DeYoung pulls it. Foul. Jose Martinez at the on-deck circle, and then Marcell Ozuna. Another 3-2. And DeYoung pops it up. On the infield, David Bodie with the catch. Crowd today, 47,514. It's the 16th sellout of the season. Last night was the largest crowd of the year until today. It's the largest crowd here this season, 47,514. Jose Martinez, a bases loaded walk in the first inning, a single in the second, and struck out swinging back in the fourth. Well, if Hicks is up, which he is right now, you would assume they get him hot. He's coming in, and that'll be it for Dakota Hudson.
I would think so. Dan, we've talked about it a lot, but that's what's been working in the Cardinals bullpen is 8 and 9. It's 5, 6, 7, which has really been the danger area, especially 6 and 7. But Hicks has had a phenomenal rookie season.
And the 0-2. Martinez, a strikeout. It's the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. And with 2 outs, the batter is Marcell Ozuna. Big day for Marcell. 3 for 3. His 11th home run, which was a grand slam, and he's now driven in 55 on the year. Looking ahead to the 8th, the Cubs will have Bodie, Rizzo, and Almora. And there's a strike.
I would suspect we'll see the defensive changes for the Cardinals from here on out. After Martinez is at bat, it's something that the Cardinals have been doing really for the last few weeks, but trying to get the A team in defensively if you have the lead in the last 2 innings. And I guess that Mike Schilt would stay true to form with that. After Martinez got his 4th at bat, I would see Carpenter going to first. And I would guess Jed Jerko at third, assuming Jed's healthy.
Yeah, he's been feeling dizzy a little bit, so Cardinals have gone with Greg Garcia at second base, and then Munoz to third. So Garcia's already been used. That's pulled foul. And Ozuna waves at it. Pair of strikeouts for Steve Cishek. Jordan Hicks coming on. Our Budweiser plays of the game, a major league debut. Dakota Hudson, strikeout of Schwarber, strikeout of Happ, and a ground out off the bat of Caratini. The Budweiser plays of the game in a day he'll never forget.
First taste of the big leagues, first taste of Cardinal Cubs rivalry, and it tasted pretty good.
Jordan Hicks and a strike. Or Chevy called to the pen.
138 average against right-handed batters. And with 104 plus, I can't blame him.
Jed Jerko, as we surmised, takes over at third base. Carpenter shifting to first, and Martinez out. One ball, one strike on David Bote. Be interesting if Mike Shield gave much thought to another inning for Dakota Hudson. But probably just wanted to get him out of there, and as you mentioned as well, the 8th and 9th innings have been, for the most part, the bright spot of the bullpen. Hicks, Norris, 2-1 pitch, make it 2-2.
I've been intrigued by the number of times we've asked Mike Shield about different decisions that he made, and you or I will ask him, well, what about that? And he said, well, that was one of the options. So he gets, I mean, he's not afraid to say, look, there's 3 ways to do it. And he's told us today, just because I did it this way today, I might not do it that way tomorrow because there's other factors that go into it.
The 2-2. Oh, wow. To the backstop. 100 miles an hour.
Well, that's a scary moment right there. That one gets away from Jordan and up and in, and all. He's almost reacting, Dan, after the ball was passed.
Absolutely. Boy, if you're a scout looking at the Cardinals right now, or just a fan of the game, you're seeing Hicks And you're seeing Dakota Hudson, Daniel Ponce de Leon. The list goes on and on. Austin Gomber. I mean, the Cardinals are turning out pitcher after pitcher. That missed on the outside corner. And a leadoff walk. Hyundai pitch arsenal. Fastball, slider. One of the things that happens with Hicks is that, and it hasn't happened often, but when he has a blow-up inning, it happens quickly.
Yeah. Well, and I think what happens to him in his mechanics is he gets a little bit too amped up with his lower half. You know, the guys that throw hard use the lower half of their body. Nolan Ryan, the perfect example of that, and Hicks does too. Gets a lot of drive to the plate, but you can almost drive. You can drive too much to where you throw the rest of your mechanics out of whack. You don't want your legs to dictate where your arm slot is.
Interesting there that the home plate umpire asked Jerry Lane, the crew chief, second base umpire, to move to the other side of the infield. Anthony Rizzo requested that. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Fielders will do that all the time. They'll say, hey, can you take a step to your left, step to your right, move in a little bit, whatever.
He'd probably like to request the home plate umpire that the pitcher throw the ball slower.
I don't blame him.
I don't think there's a rule for that.
No, no. Take a few miles per hour off this. It's 105. Here's a 1-1. And Rizzo smokes it out to left. Ozuna going back. Makes the catch on the edge of the track. A fine play by Marcell Ozuna for the first out.
And a good route by the Cardinal left fielder. He's been much sprier in the outfield the last couple of weeks, and he gets the over-the-shoulder grab. There's been a lot of work with Willie McGee on really all the outfielders, but Dexter Fowler playing a new position in right. Willie's played there. Willie's, of course, a center fielder working with Tommy Pham, but if you're an outfield coach, you're coaching everybody.
Here's Almora, slowly hit. Out there, the turn, double play. 6, 4, 3 on the double play. And a scoreless inning for the flamethrower, Jordan Hicks. very interesting. As we went to break, both teams went to their respective dugouts, and Joe Madden had apparently challenged the call at second base, and now it's a call that stands. He may have something to gripe about, but it goes the Cardinals' way. Interesting. Interesting. After the review, call stood, and it's 1 strike on Tommy Pham. This is Corey Mazzoni, who was just called up. That's George Greer there on the left with Jairo Munoz, who turned the double play at second. And as we watched the replay, a couple of different angles, it did look like indeed he was off the bag. Take a look here.
Well, you said it was interesting, and when he catches the ball, he goes up in the air with his foot that's on the bag, but the runner slid past the bag. And I'm wondering in the review process if the thought was, yes, he wasn't on the bag, but we're going to call him out for sliding past the bag. And that's certainly within their rights to do that in New York as they go over the review. But still, as I look at that, I have a feeling that the Cardinals got a break there.
So a scoreless inning by both Dakota Hudson in his major league debut, Jordan Hicks in the 8th, Hudson in the 7th. Michael is 6 innings, 2 runs on 6 hits. And Bud Norris is throwing in the Cardinals pen. This is our Chevy call to the pen, Corey Mazzoni, who was called up after Alec Mills was sent down. Here's Dexter Fowler. He's walked and scored, and he's showing bunt. And the 1-0. 1 strike. We were wondering why Fowler did not bunt his last time up. They've got the shift on, and if he gets it anywhere near that third base line, he's at first base.
Just push it that way.
And a strike, 1-2. In the dirt, and the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Out of play. The Cubs will have Hayward, Baez, and Contreras coming up in the top of the ninth. 6-2 our score.
With Bud Norris getting loose in the Cardinals bullpen, as expected. Picked up his 20th save here yesterday. Was very happy about that. That was considered that a milestone number. He saved 19 last year with the Angels, and very happy to pick up 20 here yesterday against the Cubs.
Told me it was always a dream of his to play for the Cardinals. This atmosphere, this ballpark. As Mazzoni has struck out the first two he's seen. So 2 strikeouts for Mazzoni, and now it's Jairo Munoz. Doubled into the right field corner, picked up an RBI. His Fowler scored. He's grounded to short and also was called out on strikes back in inning number 5. Munoz showing bunt and a strike. So with Wong out, Jairo Munoz getting the primary starts at second base. Jed Jerko has been dizzy at times the last week or so. And the 0-1 pitch put in play, left side, gloved by Ian Happ. That'll send us to the 9th inning. St. Louis 6, Chicago 2. Norris coming on. Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Bud Norris, the Cardinals closer in 2018. A 6-2 lead in the top of the 9th. If the Cardinals can hold on, St. Louis would go to 2 games above the 500 mark. That would bring them to within 7 of Chicago. And staying certainly in the race in the wild card. And that's what you're talking about right now, this time of year.
Sure has changed the level of hope for a lot of teams in baseball since the wild cards came into the game. I think it's been good for the game. Very good for the game.
Absolutely.
In the National League, there's only a handful of teams that are not really looking at a possibility. In the American League, different story.
Hyundai pitch arsenal on Bud Norris. It's Jason Hayward to lead it off in the 9th. He has walked, singled to left, and scored on the 2-run homer by Baez to account for all the runs for Chicago, and he's also grounded out. And it's fouled back, 0-2. After Hayward, it's Baez and Contreras. Hayward 5 for 15 against the Cardinals closer. Nothing into the count. And the next to Hayward, up and in. Backs him off the plate.
One thing the Cardinals noticed really early this year is Norris's ability to get left-handers out. And before he was the closer, there was thought that he could be kind of the extra lefty in a sense in the bullpen.
And the 1-2 is behind Hayward. And it's 2-2.
How did that not hit him? Just a bit inside.
Did everything but hit him. And the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out, and that's how we start the 9th inning. Cardinals baseball on FS1 is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. Now Javi Baez, 2-run homer back in inning number 4. His 21st of the year. Strike one. He was also struck out and grounded into a fielder's choice. It's been Michaelis, the starter, for 6. Hudson, major league debut in the 7th. Hicks in the 8th, and now Bud Norris for St. Louis. Popped up to the right side. Carpenter giving chase. He's got it. Out number 2. Tough play, and he comes up with it in foul territory. And the final hope. Wilson Contreras hitless today. 0 for 3. He's grounded to second, short, and third. 2 outs. Nobody on for Chicago. And a ball up and in. Sunday night baseball tomorrow. Kyle Hendricks and John Gant. The 1-0. Reminder to enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets, check-in offers, exclusive content. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Two balls, no strikes as Contreras steps out. Fouled back, and it's 2-1. A vicious cut from the all-star Wilson Contreras. Cardinals trying to make Miles Michaelis an 11-game winner and go to 53 and 51 on the year. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. And the Cubs now down to their final strike. The 2-2. And the count runs full. Fans of this rivalry, both sides on their feet here at Busch Stadium. A count of 3 balls and 2 strikes on Wilson Contreras as the Cardinals are trying to make it 2 in a row to begin this series. Norris is set, and here we go. A base hit into left. A 2-out hit for Wilson Contreras. Coming up after the game, don't miss the crowd-sourced documentary that captures the experience of the MLB All-Star events in Washington. It's through the eyes of the players and fans. 100,000 cameras, MLB All-Star Game. Coming up next on FS1. Kyle Schwarber, the batter. Matt Carpenter, with a left-handed batter, will play behind the runner. Contreras at first base. Schwarber has struck out twice. It also singled to left. Ball 1. Mentioned his ability to get lefties out. What pitch do you see? Why is he having that success?
Well, he throws the cutter in. He also controls the outside part of the plate too, but he has the cut fastball in, and he also has a fastball that comes back over the inside corner, throwing it at the front knee of the left-handed batter.
And the 1-0 pitch in the air. Ozuna racing after it near the sidewall, and it's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Contreras was running on the pitch. They're going to give him second base. We'll see if he's running again on 1-1. In the air, left center. Tommy Pham wants it. He's got it. And the Cardinals take game 2, 6-2, and look for the sweep tomorrow night. For those of you watching on FS1, Kevin Burkhardt and Eric Karros will be along from Los Angeles after these messages. Well, for those of you watching on Fox Sports Midwest, you'll see all the highlights. We'll take you inside the Cardinals clubhouse. Hear from Mike Schilt. A solid win today. The Cardinals, the grand slam hit by Ozuna. It set the tone, and they win it. Game 2 by the final of 6-2.